In the games, Kratos is one of the most powerful characters, isn't he? Many claim he would defeat any god from any mythology, even with the script, and this statement holds true. But I'm going to show you 10 gods that Kratos would never beat. Time is running out. The prophecies say that the end with winter leads to Ragnarok. We will have war. If you're new here, please subscribe and like this video as it really motivates me to continue creating content. If you can help me even more, use the thanks button that's down there in the shape of a little heart and you can donate any amount with it. Become a channel member to get early access to videos and join the channel's Discord. To be clear, so you can complain later, I really like God of War, alright? It's my favorite saga and it introduced me to mythology. I've completed most of the games. I haven't finished Chains of Olympus, but I won't keep hyping Kratos, saying he'd defeat all the gods. Why not? Most of the opponents he defeated were significantly weakened, but I'll discuss that in more detail later. Wow, you think Kratos will defeat Thor in God of War Ragnarok? That's a bold prediction. Easy. He likely will, which is why his chance is only 25%, but it's worth considering. The Norse mythology was greatly changed for the game, okay? It's not the same thing, you didn't understand. Then relax, I'll explain it to you. In the case, talking about the script of the first game, the villain is Baldur, and Baldur being chosen to be a villain is quite curious. This because he was the best of the Aesir gods, actually the best of the gods, so much so that the whole world promised not to hurt him, except of course the mistletoe. Out of jealousy, Loki later uses the mistletoe to kill Baldur. Well, as you saw, the base story was adapted in God of War, but Baldur's personality ends up changing quite a bit, right? Because in the game, he hits his own mother, literally. Another difference is in Thor's sons, who are Magni and Maud. In mythology, Magni symbolizes strength and is portrayed as being even mightier than Thor. However, he is the first to die in the game. The game, which has been out for years, features Maud, the representation of courage. This isn't a spoiler, so please don't accuse me of that. You know what he does in the game after his brother goes to the cradle, right? So clearly, the gods of the game are not exactly the gods of mythology. About Thor, he seems to be more faithful at least than Marvel's Thor, since in mythology he probably doesn't have a six-pack and isn't blonde. He constantly ate, drank, and fought, essentially being a war tank. His accessories boosted his strength, like his glove, his hammer, and especially his belt. With these things, Thor defeated most of the giants without any strategy. He even lifted the front part of Ilmungindr. I see a lot of people saying that he lifted it entirely, but no, it was just the front part. Well, he has the thunder with him and an absurd strength. And with the accessories, Thor is definitely much stronger than Kratos. I know there will be people saying that Kratos lifted the 9 worlds, but first it was a temple, right? Could it have the weight of the 9 worlds? It could. But it was still a temple, and that's very hyperbolic, okay? Despite going through a lot of trouble to push it. And also in previous games, for example, in the battle against Zeus in God of War, he made a great effort to push a rock.
But I
know that Thor is basically a bunch of muscles and he's in this new game, so 25% is good enough. Thoth, for those who don't know, is the god of wisdom in ancient Egypt. He can also be the god of the moon, magic, healing, time, writing, and so on. To be honest with you, in my opinion, Thoth would beat Kratos simply because he is very intelligent. He has all the knowledge that exists and that will exist. And for me, he is the most intelligent god of all mythologies, surpassing even Odin, who is in the new game. Kratos, as we know, is quite unintelligent. Without Atreus in the 2018 game, he likely would have remained stationary. In the past trilogy, he was completely controlled by Athena. In fact, Thoth even appears for Kratos in the Fallen God comic. And he even influences Kratos, makes him pick up the blades again and kill a monster. He's only at 50% here because there's probably going to be a new god of war in Egyptian mythology, and Thoth is likely to appear. So to avoid being labeled a liar here, let's leave it at 50-50. Agas is a demon from Iranian or Persian mythology or demonology. The attack of this demon is usually on people's minds. She creates illusions that are usually lustful and also shows people what they most desire, and usually has fun with it. Those who fall into her trap end up with eye diseases. Seems like she doesn't even bother Kratos, right? But his main weakness might be psychological. He spent the entire first trilogy being tormented by his past, and that he killed his own family, being deceived by Ares. Being deceived by Ares is quite sad, don't you think? In fact, at the end of God of War 1, when Kratos is there fighting against Ares, the very god of war, in this case I'm talking about the old one, right? He tried to exploit Kratos' trauma to his advantage.
There's nothing you can put in my way to stop me. So,
if Aga knows how to use this weakness, she'll do very well. But if she doesn't, then she's screwed. Anhanga, mentioned several times on this channel, can appear as a white servant protecting forests and creating illusions. However, its form as a god of the underworld is the focus of this discussion. He took on this role when he was defeated by the supreme god who was Tupa, and he was thrown into the underworld. He's here for the same reason as Agas, with a penitential look similar to the Ghost Butcher. His stare can make someone go insane. Now just imagine Anhanga using this power on Kratos. He's definitely going to go nuts. Due to his limited accomplishments, he will only receive 65%. About Sam Wukong, also known as the Monkey King, I've talked a lot about him on the channel as well, simply because he's really cool. I have a video about his story that will be showing up for you. It's in the card and description. The video's quite old. You know, Kratos simply refuses to die, right? If there's someone who's worse than Kratos at this, it's Wukong. He achieved immortality on at least 2 occasions that I recall, but there were likely more instances. I can't recall the exact order. But I remember that there was a time when he went to the underworld, tricked some demons, and erased his name from the Book of Death and Life. And the second time I remember was when he ascended to the realm of the Jade Emperor and stole the Peaches of Immortality. Moreover, Wukong defeated a divine army by himself. He stopped only when Buddha arrived. When I mentioned Tezcatlipoca in a short clip on this channel, which was basically the same theme, except there I was only talking about 4 gods, and I didn't say much because it's a short clip. I said that when Tezcatlipoca is born, he destroys stars, and that's enough to say that yes, he would defeat Kratos, and it's enough because Kratos doesn't have a feat at that level. He even kills Helios, who would be the son of Greek mythology. But let's face it, the son dying that easily, it's hard to swallow that it's enough. But besides that, he is also a creator, along with his brother and rival Quetzalcoatl, who he constantly faces in an attempt to rule the world. At times he even succeeds. Tezcatlipoca also has a mirror where he sees everything, being practically omniscient with it. So, if Aztec mythology is adapted correctly in God of War, Kratos definitely won't beat Tezcatlipoca. Chernobog is the Slavic mythological lord of the underworld. This mythology, covered in a video on this channel, features the ruler of all evil in the world. His strength, derived from his eternal battle against his opposite, Belobog, could allow him to defeat Kratos with ease. The clash between these 2 deities shapes the world. Chaos is the Greek god or goddess, who is the creator of everything. But Ameo Cleitino destroyed all the gods of Greece. No, he didn't destroy them, especially when it comes to the primordials. In this case, Gaia was supposed to be a primordial. But from what you can tell, in the game she's more of a titan. Chaos is the source of life and all matter from which the first gods emerged. Primordial deities, such as Gaia, Nyx, Erebus, and some versions of Eros, are also known as primordials. And just like Tartarus, it can also be a place, since in the Titanomachy they say that when Zeus threw his lightning bolts at the Titans, the heat was so great that it reached chaos, and as the source of life, chaos simply cannot be hurt. Chaos is at 90% because Quentin already passed through Greece, doing basically nothing. I say basically because chaos appears in the Gorphora Ascension, in the introduction that I'm going to show you now. Before the time of the
Titans, before the gods of Olympus, a great battle was fought. The wrath of the primordials, the first beings to forge the earth. Went out of control for an eternity.
And from this anger, from
the madness of war emerged. The game itself doesn't say it's chaos, but the art book confirms. Ahriman, one of Zoroastrianism's two deities, is the embodiment of evil, comparable to Chernobog. He is also always fighting with his brother, who is Ahura Mazda, who is the innocent, and the two are creators. And if Ahriman can withstand Ahura Mazda, it's certainly not Kratos who's going to kill him. Shiva is the god of destruction in Hinduism. Listen to what I will say next. There's no way Kratos can kill Shiva without the help of a script, because there are several ways Kratos can be defeated by him. Shiva has a trident that cuts everything in the spiritual or physical plane. But Kratos can steal that trident. That's fine, Shiva has another weapon that is much more powerful. The Parchopatastra, and with it, Shiva can destroy the universe at half the speed of a blink of an eye. And the worst part, this weapon only works at this level in Shiva's hands. And if he also loses this weapon, he can simply open his third eye that is on his forehead. And with that, he can either blow up Kratos' head, like he did with Ganesha, or destroy the entire world. That's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please rate it by liking or disliking and subscribe to the channel. Leave in the comments some topic for a next video, okay? Thanks.